Good morning, Riveters. Welcome to another edition of Rivet Flash. I am your host, Tridus. Today we're going to talk very quickly about a few pretty interesting things, at least I find them pretty interesting. Let's dive right in. So, it seems that there's a little tiny asteroid that is actually revolving and orbiting the Earth right now. This little guy got caught some decades ago, and it's about between 120 feet and 300 feet wide. So it's kind of like a second moon. It seems to be kind of oscillating back and forth, drifting back and forth, and it's almost about to leave. And then Earth's gravity is just strong enough to pull it back. So we got a little moon hanging out there. They think that it's probably going to hang out for maybe another 100 years, and then it'll finally just kind of drift off. But hey, we got a little buddy right now, so that's cool. There's been a few other instances of this happening. There's been another asteroid back in like 06 or 07 that this happened as well. And then there's been some random debris or little things just kind of coming here and there and hanging out for a bit and taking off. So looks like the Earth is a galactic resting place for a few asteroids, or at least the rest stop. Yes. So, and that interesting little tidbit led me to an even more interesting piece of news. The the European Space Agency announced that they are going to build a space base. Delicious smoothie. They're going to build a space base between the Earth and the Moon, so that way it makes it a lot easier for us to go from there to here, back and forth, bringing back supplies, astronauts, things like that. So kind of like for lack of a better term, interstellar way station. So that'll be quite interesting. I want to see how that's gonna, if we can get that going. They said they're gonna get that done in the next 10 years. However, the astronaut who brought that up is a British astronaut, and in light of very recent events with the UK leaving the EU, I'm not sure how that's going to go, so we'll have to see how that pans over the next couple of years as the UK breaks off of the EU, and we'll see if they still stay a part of the European Space Agency. If they don't, hopefully they still get it built. I mean, that by itself does need to get done. I think we've spent far too little time on the moon, and I think it's been long enough. We were able to achieve getting there 50 years ago, and we need to get there again. There's just so much that we can do with that, and there's already a lot of plans out there to do it, but I really think it needs to get made priority. Cool. The next thing I wanted to briefly chat about was something called the TALOS uniform. It's a robotic exoskeleton being developed by the U.S. military, and specifically by the U.S. Special Forces Command. We haven't really talked too much about military devices and technologies, but I wanted to bring this one up specifically because it's kind of like an Iron Man suit, and the applications for it getting developed for our military to help our soldiers out can also be applied to other industries as well. Let me talk about a couple of the features of this TALOS uniform. It's the acronym is TALOS. It stands for Tactical Assault Light Operator Suit. So it would be a suit comprised of layers of smart material sensors, an impact gel that can stop bullets. It has the ability to monitor vitals and give the wearer superhuman strength and flexibility and perception. And so you can kind of take that and you can imagine what we could take and put that into other industries, manufacturing, transportation. I mean, the list could go on and on and on. I mean, it could, the heavy lifting capabilities they could enhance. Even farmers in the field could use that, to lift bales and things like that. I mean, that could be monumental. But let me read off some of the features. It provides sensor cues to soldiers to reduce injuries. Have the suit weigh less than 400 pounds and generate at least 12 kilowatts of power for 12 hours. And the reduced impact of load by intelligent weight distribution throughout the body. So a lot of those things would give enhanced strength, durability, things of that nature. The big challenge with that right now is powering it, though, because the worry is that the the generator that they would have to attach to it to provide power to the whole suit might end up weighing too much, and then then you get into that distributed weight issue where even though you have enhanced strength and enhanced flexibility, you're still too heavy, so it makes it kind of worthless. So they're talking to have that up and ready to go by 2018. I'm really curious. I'm going to follow this project because I want to see how that ends up going. They had I know DARPA and SOCOM had a project, maybe it was like 10 years ago, called Future Force Warrior, which was similar to this, but I think this was kind of like the natural evolution, because that project died out, and I think this one is basically its legacy, it's going to be interesting. So check it out, Iron Man suit. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. Also, E3 was just last week, or the previous week, and some pretty cool stuff came out of that. A lot of awesome games. I mean, we have a new Zelda game coming out, Breath of the Wild. We've got new God of War. That's going to be interesting, and just a sequel to the first Dishonored, which that was a pretty awesome game by itself. Something called Horizon, which is some kind of post-apocalyptic prehistoric dinosaur robot world. Yes. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, of course. And what I thought was probably one of the more interesting ones was Titanfall 2, and the reason I say that was because the first Titanfall didn't have a multiplayer, and this one they're actually going to have a single player campaign, which I'm excited about. I feel like there's a lot of those games that are coming out that are just straight multiplayer, and they're still like $60-$70. I feel like that, if you don't have a good single player campaign, I don't get into them. I mean, I need to have a good single player campaign in order to even enjoy the multiplayer. So, but that being said, I still play games like Smite and all that. So obviously that doesn't have a campaign, but if you're going to design a multiplayer game, just make it a multiplayer, right? Don't dabble with that like combined single player. Like if you're going to have one, have the other. Have a multiplayer, just be that and that's it. Or if you're going to have a multiplayer and like have a little bit of single player, actually really flesh out the single player campaign. Don't make it like 2 hours like Homefront did, where I think I beat Homefront in 3 hours. Yeah. But other than that, there's a lot of really cool stuff that's come out at E3 this year. Check it out. I know This Is Geek, the folks from This Is Geek, and those are the folks that run 2DCon were there. So I bet they're going to have some pretty awesome highlights and reviews. So check that out. thisisgeek.net, I believe they're at. And I'm going to put some links to the show notes to some awesome things that came out of E3. So other than that, we are going to be rolling out with another Nerds and Cars Getting Comics. Well, it'll be the same of that series. It won't be the same rendition of that. It's going to be sometime in August. We're going to film and knock that out and have that up for you guys to watch. So cool. Other than that, we will be joining you next week. So check us out next Saturday. This is Tritus, signing off.